Hey guys, before we get rolling into this week's video, make sure to subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment, let me know what content you guys would like to see, and also let me know if you guys have any questions. Enjoy the video. What's up everybody, it's me, Brian Sperduti from Genesis Personal Training, and we are jumping into week 4 of my 6-week Intro to Flexible Dieting program. Now I initially want to go over caloric assessment, but seeing that I pretty much inboxed everybody to go over their 2-week assessment of caloric intake and weight, I'm going to skip that portion. Initially I was just going to give out some general information and guidelines through video, but I always try to give a little bit more to clients, especially with this program, because I really want you guys to understand how to properly incorporate flexible nutrition. So that's why I added in the direct messaging. A lot of you guys I talked to out there had some great info, and I cannot stress enough when it comes to caloric reduction, use a scalpel, not a hatchet. But what I do want to go over today is incorporating protein. So not only for this upcoming week will you still be tracking those calories that you assessed, but also tracking your protein. Protein's a macronutrient. It's really important. It's a foundational macronutrient. Hair, skin, nails, bones, muscles, all that good stuff is made up of protein. So we want to make sure that we are getting enough of it throughout the day. So this is what I want you guys to do. A little bit of math homework. I want you to take your current weight from that 2-week assessment, and I want you to divide it by 2.2 because we have to get it into kilograms. So for an example, if you weigh 200 pounds, you would divide your weight by 2.2, and that would give you roughly 91 kilograms. Once you have that 91 kilograms, multiply that by 1.5, and that should roughly give you 135. So that would be your protein goal. Your minimum goal for the day would be 135 grams of protein. Excuse me if my math is a little off, it's kilograms to grams, all that stuff, but that's roughly what it would be. So again, follow the equations I just laid out. You would just insert your body weight, and then that goal that you get, that number, would be the minimum amount of protein you should be consuming per day. What's nice about protein is it has a high thermal effect, which means it takes a lot of calories to actually digest and absorb it. Roughly 20 to 35% of the calories taken in from protein are used for that reason, which is cool. So it keeps you full for longer periods of time. You rarely hear people saying, oh man, I ate too much chicken breast. You rarely hear that. It's usually carbs or fats or stuff like that. So that's another number that I want you guys to incorporate this week that we're going to be tracking. So this next week, I'm still going to have you guys send me your information. We should see a calorie column, a protein column, and a weight column. So now I have 3 columns. And again, if you need extra help with that, with the division and figuring that out, just send me a direct message. I can talk you through it, but I pretty much laid everything out. So again, this week, we're incorporating protein. It has a ton of benefits. You'll probably notice a significant change in especially hair and nail growth, big time. So we're gonna incorporate that. That's your little bit of homework. I want to talk about now incorporating another column, another source of tracking we'll be using. I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys this week, but I want you guys to start tracking more aspects of your life so you can not only lose weight, but keep it off long term and change those habits and behaviors. And one of the biggest habits and behaviors that I deal with myself and a lot of clients deal with is sleep. When it comes to weight loss, studies have shown that even in a significant caloric deficit, if you're not getting enough sleep, you will not see a weight loss. Why? Because your body's in a constant state of stress. There's 2 states of stress, parasympathetic and sympathetic. When you're in a constant state of sympathetic stress with the nervous system, it's your fight or flight. It's the rapid heart rate, your body's always tense, and it's not relaxed, and it's not recovering. Unfortunately, a lot of us spend the majority of our time during the day in that stress state. So what we want to do is spend more time in the parasympathetic state, which is your calm, cool, relaxation, and recovery state. When you don't get enough sleep at night, you're not fully recovered and you're going to be in a high stress state. That high stress state will lead to an increase in cortisol levels. And when you have an increase in cortisol levels, you retain water. When you retain water, that causes scalp fluctuation. And that also causes people at times to take drastic measures, such as 1, decreasing calories even more, or 2, increasing cardio even more. I've seen that happen a lot. So the reason I like to monitor clients' sleep, so I can monitor fluctuations, so you know what steps to take when it comes to increasing, it comes to weight loss. So we would, initially we would, if we're not seeing a weight loss with a client and everything is on point calorically, but we're not seeing a weight loss, I can look to sleep and go, well, wait a minute, you're not losing weight because more than likely you're retaining water. So it's not a caloric issue, it's actually a recovery issue. So there'll be weeks where clients send in their information and calories are on point, everything's perfect, but their lack of sleep during the week, they may be averaging an hour to 2.5 to 3 hours less than they did the week before. And then once they work on, increasing their sleep, such as going to bed earlier at night, having a nighttime routine, which I've talked about in other videos, even taking a nap during the day. We take those for granted. We for some reason we don't think sleep and rest as important as it is, especially when it comes to weight loss. And what I've noticed with clients when we've addressed those behaviors is I see what I call a flush of water. So again, if your sleep is not consistent and you can't figure out how many hours of sleep you need on average to fully recover, you're not going to see a weight loss, even if you are in a caloric deficit. So this week, I know we're already tracking protein, but I also want you to track your sleep. And if you have a Fitbit, that's even better, because then you can actually get into tracking the quality of sleep that you're getting. So it'll count every time you were up, every time you turned over, things like that. So you can actually see how many hours of deep recovery sleep you're getting. So we're going to put an emphasis on that because, again, we're trying to change habits and behaviors. We're building towards the future, that weight loss maintenance, but we can't do that unless we start tracking and running what I like to call a self-diagnostic tests on ourselves. So this week, we're going to be monitoring sleep. So again, when you send in your information, there's going to be calories, there's going to be weight, there's going to be protein, and there's going to be sleep. Track your sleep this week. Next, I want to talk about alcohol. Now, for every 1 gram of alcohol, there's roughly 7 calories. Alcohol is actually the 4th macronutrient. I call it the redheaded stepchild of macronutrients. Remember those protein, carbs, and fat, and then alcohol. So we got to talk about it because I don't expect you guys to give it up. I expect you guys to be able to enjoy the occasional drink or beverage or whatever, White Claw, Smirnoff, Ice, Alabama Slammer. So if you're going to do it, because I know you're going to, let's talk about tracking it. There's 4 different ways to track alcohol. 1, don't drink it. Just don't even drink it. Don't worry about it. 2, just scan the can using your tracking app, and that'll give you the total calories of what's in that alcoholic beverage. And if you can't find it, you can Google it and then incorporate it into your plan. So if you don't know how many calories are in an Alabama Slammer, you can just look up on Google how many calories Alabama Slammer, and you'll see it's probably 370. Incorporate that into your tracking app, and that will subtract it from your daily calories. Easy. There's 2 other methods you can use for my clients out there that actually track every macronutrient. I have some clients who just track overall calories, some who track overall calories and protein, and others that track protein, carbs, and fat. So since I don't have an alcohol column, because I don't want to give people the impression they can just start slamming all their calories back in alcohol, I use 2 different methods. The first method is this. You would take the total calories of that alcoholic beverage, divide it by 4. And whatever that number comes out to be, subtract that from your carbohydrate column. Because for every 1 gram of carbohydrate, there are 4 calories. Pretty simple. The second method would be, or the 4th method, but the second one, subtracting and dividing, would be taking the total calories in that item, dividing it by 9, and subtracting that from your fat category. So there's 4 different methods. 1, don't drink alcohol at all. 2, track overall calories of that alcoholic beverage. If you can't find it, Google it. 3, divide the total calories of that alcoholic beverage by 4, subtract that from your carbohydrates. Or 4, take the total caloric value of that alcoholic beverage, divide it by 9, and subtract that from your overall fat. So use one of those 4 methods when consuming alcohol and you should be fine, but consume it responsibly, and I don't think all your calories should be coming from alcohol. I know we're talking a lot of topics today, but the last one I want to go over with you guys is eating out. I want people to associate weight loss maintenance with going out, having a meal with friends, socializing, and laughing. I don't want people to associate weight loss with living like a hermit and staying home all the time. So here are a few tips for eating out. Number 1, plan ahead. If you know you're going out to eat, whatever restaurant it may be, set up a game plan. Look ahead and see what you may be ordering that day so you can kind of get an idea of how many calories you'll be consuming while you're there. And then you can kind of work the rest of your caloric intake for the day around that. Number 2, when you get to the restaurant, whatever you order, ask them to put half of it in a to-go box right off the bat. That way you've literally just cut your calories in half for that meal. Pretty good game plan there. Number 3, if you know you're going out to eat, try to eat a little lighter earlier in the day to set up what I like to call a caloric cushion. So when you go out, you can have a good time. Example, if I know I'm going to Applebee's, okay? Let's not use Applebee's, let's use Olive Garden, because I like Italian. So if I know I'm going to Olive Garden, and I know ahead of time, I know I really want some type of Alfredo dish, because let's face it, who doesn't like Alfredo? What I'll do then is, when I get to the restaurant, I'll ask them to put half of my Alfredo dish in a to-go box right off the bat, because I've already looked up the calories earlier in the day. Next, what I'll do is I'll have a glass of wine using my caloric method or strategy I talked about earlier in the video. So now I can enjoy a glass of wine, I can enjoy, a half a serving of the Alfredo, and I'll probably add in a cannoli and split it with my wife. So earlier in the day, what I'll do is probably just have something light, maybe a salad with some chicken in it, maybe a protein bar, maybe a protein shake. But I really want to set up, because I know Alfredo's, high in calories, I really want to set up that caloric cushion for later in the day. So let's just say, for instance, if I'm consuming 2,000 calories per day, I may backload for dinner 1,500. I may in the morning, not eat till maybe around 11:30, have a coffee when I wake up, have a little protein shake or a salad, something like that, something light. That way I know I'm not going to go over my calories, even though I'm pre-planning. So with eating out, I want you to go eat out. I want you to enjoy time with friends. I don't want you to think you have to live like a hermit. But every menu's available online. All you have to do is Google the establishment, the restaurant that you're going to eat, look up what you're going to eat, and use those strategies I talked about. Planning ahead, caloric cushion, put half of it in a to-go box right off the bat. Set up that cushion so you can go out and enjoy yourself. Have a drink, have a breadstick, have a dessert. The key is make sure it fits, don't go over your calories, have some fun, relax, because you know what happens when you have fun and relax? Parasympathetic state. You'll probably even notice a weight loss. Not a big deal, right? Because that's what it's all about, changing habits and behavior and looking at weight loss differently. Understanding you don't have to incorporate extreme measures to get where you want to be and stay where you want to be. I hope this video helped you guys out today. If you have any questions, of course, you can always inbox me. I'll talk to you guys soon.